Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 here of the Air Lingus Kitesurf Pro 2012. I'm Sky Solbach here, sitting next to me, Ben Meyer. We're actually down on the beach today, Ben, down on Keel Beach at Ackle Island. It's a little bit gray and overcast this morning, but riders meeting going on right now, and hopefully a possible start today.
Yeah, we moved our whole crew down here to a possible event site. We have a good possibility of being able to start running later today again. As like compadre Sky said, we are awaiting word from the riders meeting happening not too far away from us right now, but we're down in our mobile unit, our van down here getting set up, the crew's running around, and it looks like it's shaping up to be a fairly traditional Irish day here. But
yeah, it looks like we've got some gray skies here. The wind is sort of building, and the riders meeting, as you said, is going on right now up at the Pure Magic Lodge. We're down here on the beach at the moment, just sort of looking at the conditions and waiting to see what that call is going to be. Hopefully, we'll be able to get this thing underway later this afternoon. Right now, the swell out there is looking pretty tiny, but they are expecting a big pulse and swell later this afternoon and into this evening. So hopefully that swell will show up early, and we'll be able to actually get this thing underway this afternoon. Tomorrow is looking like we're going to have a fairly decent-sized swell. Should be pretty big, actually. So just waiting for that word to come in from the riders meeting at the moment. Which is going on up at the Pure Magic Lodge. Our host here, these guys have been incredible. We are down here on the beach at the moment and just awaiting that call. So we are just... oh, sorry. And sorry, I was had someone talking to me over there. So it looks like we're just waiting for that call to come in from the riders meeting.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And if we're able to go to our overhead cam here and show the sort of setup that we have for this exact beach location. And man, I know all the riders are ready to go. Running around in some pretty thick clothing, some warm clothing down here, making sure they got their heaviest wetsuits because we can see some weather rolling in. But as you referenced, Sky, the forecast and all of the models that we've been looking at the last few days are looking pretty unbelievable for starting as early as this afternoon, which is why we have a feeling that perhaps the call is going to be put on hold for the day to see what happens as the afternoon rolls on, as that swell starts to kick in. It's supposed to get super windy, start to generate. When we were looking out yesterday on the maps, you could see a huge little ball.
Purple blob out there in the Atlantic, which is headed this way rapidly. So hopefully that thing's going to show up this afternoon. If not, definitely tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, and that's what everyone's hoping for. And as the day goes on, again, we anticipate that we're going to have a little bit of a on hold situation here. So
yeah, it looks like we've just got word in from that riders meeting, as you can probably see on your screen there. The next call will come at 12 o'clock. So they are going to put this thing on hold until noon and wait and see how those conditions develop through the afternoon. So just to touch a little bit on what we've seen so far this year, obviously Ireland, very different from our last two stops. Our first tour stop of the year was in Portugal, sunny, beautiful Guincho. And the second stop, of course, was in Mauritius, where we just came from. We saw some incredible action over in Mauritius. And this is definitely a change of scenery here in this cold weather in Ireland.
Yeah, it's been great for the riders to have a couple of days here to kind of acclimate themselves. I know that a couple of riders have been taking hikes, getting up and out in the water, and it's really good for these guys to get out into the water a little bit and get used to the conditions here. Hands are going to be a bit colder, feet are going to be a bit colder. And for all the riders, it's been great to have these couple of days to sort of sit by the fire and warm up and make sure they're ready to get out there as soon as the conditions go.
So yeah, Mauritius was definitely a great event. We had great conditions down there. Obviously, very different scenery from what we've seen here in Ireland. But we got 2 great swells during that event. We were able to run the competition those first 3 days. We had quite a big holding period in the middle there, but just great action. Sebastian Ribeiro, of course, from Brazil there on your screen. He was 3rd place, made it all the way through the semifinals. Absolutely ripping throughout the entire event, Ben.
Yeah, and it's so great to be able to revisit sort of where we're at. And as we mentioned yesterday, the conditions are going to be possibly a lot different, possibly similar to this. However, the weather and how everything kind of sets itself up kind of depends, which is the cool part about this event. But again, going back and recapping the last event that we were at, kind of really setting the tone for this season and establishing a true points leader on both sides. As we look at, I believe, the South African Luke McGillivray there just ripping his way through, and he'll be in the first heat when we come up here at this event in a rematch with Patrick McLaughlin, the winner of the Mauritius event, which he'll be coming up. A few of his barrel hunting rides here on these recap clips were pretty amazing. I know I can't wait to see that heat and see what these guys have been practicing in the time that they've had between these 2 events.
And for sure, and of course on the ladies' side too, Nina Bichler here, who you see on your screen, she's going to be coming up in the first heat as well. She's the current points leader in the tour at the moment, so she is the front runner. We'll be looking to defend her position in the ranking here in Ireland. Of course, she's used to those warm conditions in Mauritius, but it's going to be quite a contrast here in Ireland. But she's been out there warming up. And, of course, Ayrton Cozzolino, he's going to be coming up, I believe, in Heat 8, the last heat of Round 1 here at this competition in Ireland. Also very different conditions for him, coming from warm Cabo Verde and Italy.
Yeah, exactly. But as we mentioned a bit yesterday, some of the conditions that might present themselves here as we look at Patry, the event winner, in front of your screen here, going with his signature barrel hunting moves. You can see just killing it in that Mauritius event. A deserved win for the young Maui kid. But again, going back to the conditions here and how that might benefit one versus the other, Ayrton, as we see in front of us here, very comfortable in big waves, also very comfortable in onshore, trying to pull up, and as we see, just a sick barrel from Patry from the last Mauritius event there. But it's going to be really cool to see these guys and with the format that we have, trying to get the conditions that could be changing all the time, and that's going to be really fun to see which of these guys is able to step up to the plate, as it's going to be a couple of days of competition. So,
yeah, and of course we touched a little bit yesterday on the mobile format that we're going to have here in Ireland. We've been talking a lot about the different conditions we can expect. We are mobile, so we have got 5 event sites. We're going to be able to move around from place to place, and that's going to be really exciting as well.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic as we see the event wrapping up here in Mauritius. The podium stand. I know as we mentioned before, Nina Bichler and Patrick McLaughlin, both points leaders, coming into this event. As you just saw on your screen, they were up on the podium. Their friends and family. Again, we saw Nina Bichler getting carried out of the water by her local crew. Lives in Mauritius, knows the break at One Eye really well. And as we've been saying, it'll be interesting to see her transition. It's a lot different temperature. It's a lot different condition. And see, because I know a lot of girls are going to be gunning for her. And it'll be interesting to see how she handles the pressure. As we saw in some of our interviews with her when we were in Mauritius, she felt a little bit more pressure being the defending champion from that event. And it'll be interesting to see now, as the current points leader for the World Tour, how she handles the pressure here in Ireland.
Yeah, exactly, and also how she handles the cold, Ben. I mean, I know it's pretty tough conditions out here, and girls like Kari Shibabag comes to mind. She's from Norway. She's used to riding in this stuff all the time, full hood, booties, gloves, the whole kit. So she's going to be really comfortable in this cold water. And Nina, of course, she is from Germany, but she spends most of her time in Mauritius. She lives there, warm water, so that's going to be very different as well. Patry, he had a hood and booties and all that stuff on as well. Said he felt like a seal out there in the water. So that's also coming into play here, as well as the varying conditions. It could be sideshore, onshore, offshore, big barreling waves. Could be an air game if we just get onshore wind, which it looks like we kind of have here at Keel Beach today. So it's anyone's guess what the outcome of this event's going to be. I personally can't wait for it to get started. I can't wait to go out in my heat as well, and it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, the riders were told last night, especially we're having as the day goes on, really as the conditions change and forecasts change, the models change for all of the event sites that we're looking at running the contest. It's an ongoing process during the day, trying to tabulate that data and see and talk to the local knowledge here and try to figure out what the actual plan will be for the next day and what it looks like based on basically 12-hour models. We're kind of looking at everything within a 12-hour window, which is why last night it was determined to really this morning be ready to go, because we thought that there's a possibility, as far as the models are concerned, for swell coming up this afternoon. The wind should be cranking for the next 4 or 5 days straight, it looks like, Sky. So with that mixture of ground swell with a little bit of that wind picking up into it, if it can organize itself, the swell heights and the swell maps look like it could be a pretty unbelievable weekend here at one of the locations that we have within striking distance of our base camp.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not looking the goods out there at the moment this morning, but we do see that purple blob making its way across the North Atlantic, going to slam into Ireland tonight, or definitely tomorrow, and hopefully that's going to show up early enough this afternoon that we can get this thing underway. But we're just, again, on hold until noon. The next call will be at noon, and we will update you then. We're going to just take a quick look at some action that we've seen so far here in Ireland. And
some of the local scenery, some of what you can expect to be seeing here live on the live stream of the contest events, kind of the weather and the conditions, and a little bit of what we have going on here on this beautiful island of Achill.